Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Saturday morning to you all. Hope you guys are doing well, having yourselves a great start to your day, your weekend, and just feeling great out there this morning. At least it's the weekend. I know not everybody gets the luxury of having a weekend off. Some people work on the weekends, but regardless, I hope you guys are feeling awesome out there this morning. Got you an update on what's going to happen weather-wise for today. Expecting areas of strong to severe storms. A lot of areas of the country could experience storms today, but, you know, it's kind of going to be one of those days in certain areas of the country where maybe right up the road you get an inch of rain, but in your neck of the woods you get not even a tenth of an inch of rain, or maybe not even a drop of rain. It's kind of a summer type pattern out there in a way. There is some directional pulls out there as far as what motion these storms are taking that are influenced by areas of low pressure, like our weakening low pressure that sparked all those crazy tornadoes in Nebraska yesterday. That was wild. I know folks who are very active in the weather community or pay attention to weather certainly saw. We all got to see a bird's eye view of what happened in Nebraska yesterday with all the storm chasers. Reed Timmer, which is a household name in the weather community, drove right through a tornado in his several thousand-pound vehicle. That was really neat to see. I know a lot of people are, shy away from that and like, yo, that is crazy. But for energy junkies like me, I would certainly just go bonkers over something like that in a good way. But regardless, I hope you guys stayed safe. I hope there was no crazy damage in Nebraska yesterday. I did see a couple buildings destroyed, but hopefully nothing damage-wise. I certainly haven't heard any deaths or anything like that happened in the Nebraska or any other areas out there in the country. But flooding risk today, severe weather risk today, but not as high as yesterday, I don't think so. That could change. Remember, I'm giving you information as of right now, so could get new information that comes out in the next hour or two per the latest update. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. And if you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, you know the deal. Please put it in the comments below so I can do that. Asking for prayers today just for safe travels. We're heading to Folly Beach here locally in South Carolina. For you folks who view from the Carolinas or the Southeast, you might be familiar with the beach. It's a great family-type beach. And I'm a big believer in day trips. Some people, like my dad, he says there's no way I'm driving all the way to the beach just for the day. But I'm a big believer in it. I think it's there's nothing wrong with it. You drive 2.5 hours there, and I don't mind driving it right back. But asking for prayers for safe travels. Some people like to take vacation for a week, and I'm not a believer in that. I don't like being away from my house for a week. My reality isn't. And I'm not saying this is the reason why other people take trips, but my reality is a blessing. And I don't need a week and a half vacation for my reality. I really don't. I don't like being away from my house that long either, because it seems like every time you come back to some kind of issue. And anyways, get off my soapbox there. But let's get rolling. Let's talk about the weather. And I appreciate the prayers for you folks that do pray. We look at what's going on out here. A couple features to check out. One, you got ridging building up in this direction. So ridging is building right into here. You got a Canadian high up here. Okay, this is blocking this weakening surface low that sparked all that crazy weather in Nebraska yesterday. This is not only weakening, but it's bogging down. But this is still going to create an atmosphere for severe weather in this region today. Down here, you have an upper level low somewhere in this region. It's not showing up very well. There's a little bit of a spin right here in the panhandle of Texas, and there's just a lot of showers and storms down here deep in Texas and central Texas. And then with a lingering low somewhere in here later this afternoon, this will spark an area of potential severe weather into this region today. We'll certainly watch all this. But, the flow kind of goes like this, and then it kind of comes back down like this in general, maybe more so like that. There's all kinds of lines on this map now. But I think we are going to have widely scattered showers and storms, even in the southeast today. So we'll talk about what is actually happening right now. And this is a new thing you'll be seeing me use a lot off WeatherTap.com. The fine folks at this company gave me a free subscription to try out on my YouTube channel, so props to them. And I'm just getting a chance to use it. But I love it. I've been playing around with it. And it's really awesome to use. I love Radar Scope. Radar Scope's always going to be on my heart. But, of course, this shows a view of everything. And I certainly like it. But you see all these twists and turns out here. You got this little mesoscale convective vortex, MCV for short. Little spin here in Texas. a lot of rain, a mesoscale convective system, MCS. Just a huge complex of storms down here deep in Texas, creating a lot of heavy rain, showers, and storms. And then you got a Canadian high up here. You don't see much moisture at all up in Canada. So all this moisture is just basically hitting this high. And you see how this moisture is like, there's just a weak flow aloft. So a lot of showers, and I would say there's not really much storm activity, but a lot of showers up here in Michigan this morning. Great Lakes region stretching all the way into the mid-Atlantic, Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, even northern VA and Maryland, Delaware. And they're just kind of there. There's not much movement with them, and that's because there's weak flow aloft, meaning there's not much wind of a directional pull either way. But you see our lingering low pressure. You already got storms this morning in Iowa, some heavy rain into Minnesota, but this low pressure that you see right here is really slowing down. There's not much movement from it. Eventually, this energy will actually get pulled kind of back down this way, or more so this way. That's why you'll have a little bit of a severe weather threat down here into this region for tomorrow. So that's kind of what's going on at the surface. Let's keep it rolling here. Watches, warnings, a lot of flood watches up here in Texas remain, and Oklahoma also got some dense fog advisories that will probably get lifted. In fact, they might already have been lifted. They're not yet, but got some flood watches up here. I always want to say flash flood watches or flood watches, but you get flood watches. You got flood watches up here in southern areas of Minnesota. But other than that, it's going to be a lot of heat in the Pacific Northwest. I know I don't talk a lot on you folks, but please be aware of the big heat in the Northwest throughout the next couple of days. But the severe weather risk today, slight risk right in here, marginal risk surrounding it, slight risk level 2 out of 5. Yesterday they were thinking maybe there was a chance that this gets upgraded to an enhanced risk. I'm not going to totally rule it out or anything, but as of now, just a slight risk. But just be aware of this today. There is going to be a little bit of a tornado risk up here, 5% risk. There's a slight risk down here too. Would not be surprised if a slight risk gets issued here in Oklahoma. Here in the coming updates, we'll see what happens, but there's a 5% risk of a tornado in this area right here of Iowa, stretching into western Illinois, Peoria. Not quite to Des Moines, but you got areas like Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Davenport, Waterloo that certainly have the 5% risk of a tornado. Wind threat, 15% risk, and each slight risk of winds pushing 50 knots or higher. And then the hail risk, same thing, 15% risk of hail 1 inch in diameter or larger. No hatch risk of anything as of right now. Flooding risk today, a moderate risk of flash flood guidance being met in Texas. And the flooding risk is ongoing right now. This isn't going to start up later today or anything like that. This is ongoing. And then the slight risk is at least a 15% risk of flash flood guidance being met. Several more inches of rain is possible down here in southern Texas, though, over between now and the next day or so. Slight risk here, slight risk here. So basically there is just a slight risk of flash flooding happening in these regions. So let's talk about the southeast first. Now listen, there's a dilemma out there in the weather community, how the HRRR model is not behaving very well. So what I'm going to do over the next couple weeks is I'm going to compare and contrast some of these model guides and see how they behave and see who wins out over a 2 to 3 week period. I'm probably going to start at Monday, and we're going to try to figure that out. And then whoever wins, I'm going to use that for the foreseeable future. But HRRR model is the model I always roll with. It upgrades every hour and updates every hour. I always mix my upgrades with my updates. It updates every hour, and it's very easy to use. And overall, I mean, it compares with all the other model guidance about the same. But depending on the pattern in the U.S., certain models do better than others, certain do worse than others. But in general, we just talked about this, a lot of showers and storms ongoing right now in Texas. High pressure, ridge of high pressure right in this region. I would say the thunderstorm coverage would be not as high in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama today. But if you're on top of this ridging as it's building in, I would watch for some storm development in Kentucky, northern Kentucky, West Virginia, I would watch for some big storms in Virginia today. In fact, as of now, you do not have a marginal risk in Virginia, but I could see them upgrading to a marginal risk in Virginia, maybe areas of West Virginia, maybe even northern North Carolina on the next update. We'll see what happens. But Storms up here in this region could produce some damaging winds, maybe some hail, tornado threat very low, but there is a little weak low pressure, basically a piece of energy flying through. Another thing I'm watching for is sea breeze storms along the Carolina coastline, Georgia coastline today. You know, if you're vacationing in Florida, you're certainly going to have some thunderstorm development that develops probably as early as 2-3 p.m. And this will be outflow boundary driven, meaning it'll blow up. Rain-cooled air will shoot off from these thunderstorms and produce more storms in other areas of Florida. But it looks to me like the highest coverage area of storms today in Florida is going to be in central and north central Florida, maybe inland. But you can't rule out some storms along the coastline. And I'd say as you get into the evening hours, these might drift southward with the influence of a high with the directional pull straight out the north, pushing these storms to the south in areas of southwest Florida. But storm development up here, you got to watch Missouri. I would say, you know, maybe some storms in the Boot Hill, Missouri, southern Missouri, but not very high coverage or anything like that. But like I said, just watch this area of storms in North Carolina, Virginia later today. Could get some stormy conditions in western Kentucky later this evening. A little bit closer look at my folks in Virginia and the Carolinas and Georgia. HRRR model, I think, is really liking the idea of more storm coverage up here in Virginia today. Damaging winds, I would say, is the biggest threat. Some hail is possible. Isolated spin up would say that is very low, though, with just weak flow aloft. But basically anywhere in Virginia, especially outside of the especially anywhere outside of southwest Virginia, but even southwest Virginia has a chance to see some big storms throughout the afternoon. This evening, this energy could fly into northern and northeast North Carolina. Right as the sun's going down, 9, 10, 11 p.m., some storms could fly through this region. Watch out Raleigh, I would say, later this evening, 8, 9, 10 p.m. But the storms could be more widespread than what they're showing here in the Piedmont, North Carolina, upstate of South Carolina, Midlands of South Carolina, even North Georgia. They could be more widespread than this. Okay, I could see some storms bubbling up in the upstate as early as 3 to 4 p.m. this afternoon. In the upstate of South Carolina, watch out, Greenville, Spartanburg, Hendersonville, Asheville area, storms could fire up. But then I would watch a sea breeze that does get going, and I would say there's going to be storms along the coastal regions of the Carolinas, I would say. So I definitely need to watch out for some storms. Northeast today. You're dealing with some rain this morning in Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. We just kind of talked about that earlier in the video, and we just talked about these storms. You know, even West Virginia, you guys could see some storms later today, even in the higher elevations. Watch out for those. But like I said, the severity level of it, even if it gets upgraded to a marginal risk, level 1 out of 5, I wouldn't worry about anything severe weather-wise. I know there's a lot of people who have storm anxiety, but this is just a typical summer-type flow out here. It really is. But you keep going, and I would say things really simmer down later this afternoon, this evening for the Northeast. But everybody else, like, you know, from northern PA all the way up to the Northeast, quiet weather. Some showers could fly through northern Maine later today, but everybody in between, pretty quiet as we get into Sunday morning. Down here in the south central U.S., you do have a slight risk for severe weather. This basically is almost the entire southeast Texas, well, the entire coastline of Texas, Houston, Corpus Christi, all the way to Brownsville, Texas. Marginal risk from San Antonio, Austin, up here to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Tulsa, Oklahoma. There is a risk of severe storms. And we kind of already talked about this, but you got 2% risk of a tornado area is a bimodal 2% risk. So in this region, I could see this getting larger, or maybe going to a 5% risk, but there's really a big weak flow aloft. But there is a hail threat with these, and then a wind threat with this also. And we kind of see what's going on out here, and we keep going throughout the morning hours. There's going to be a spin that's going to be pretty evident on radar right in this region of western Texas. You guys are certainly making up for lost ground. You know, western Texas is feast and famine when it comes to the rain. You guys have certainly made up for any kind of lost ground over the last several months and year. I'll tell you that. Which is good news, but sometimes you get it too fast. But more rain in western Texas today. But one area I will watch, and this is this area right into here. You guys could certainly get a spin up or two. Little spin right here in western Texas, the Panhandle, Texas, Oklahoma. Okay, and on the right side of this, it kind of creates its own kinematic environment, if you will. And there will be a little bit of a weak flow aloft, and I would watch out for any kind of spins out here, maybe a quick tornado. Would not be surprised to get a couple tornado warnings in this area today, but certainly not an outbreak of tornadoes. You might not get anything. And then we'll watch for the redevelopment of storm activity as you have, little boundaries down here from the morning convection. And you're going to have more widely scattered showers and storms in central to northern Texas today, into Oklahoma, even into Louisiana, Shreveport, and really anywhere. I would say the coverage is more widespread the further west and northwest you get into Louisiana today, but you can get some storm development. But this is what I'm talking about, the crazy flow as ridging is building into this region right into here, up the Mississippi Valley basically. You got these storms moving to the north out the south, and you got these storms moving from the northwest to the southeast down here. You see all the crazy flow out here? Like, what is going on? Well, that is because of this ridging building into this region, creating a change in a directional flow. But you're going to have showers and storms ongoing throughout the night. This is waking up tomorrow morning. You still got storms ongoing in the Panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma. A little bit closer look. Like I said, please be careful. These storms could produce some hail. Latest run of the HRRR model, this is around 6 p.m. This afternoon, this evening. Big storms showing up anywhere in Oklahoma, basically. North Texas. So, don't be caught off guard by some significant severe weather in Oklahoma or North Texas today. It could certainly happen. Could have a powerful few storms out there that are possible. But I think that the severe weather mode in this region certainly is going to be lacking. But I would say these storms will pop up in this region as early as just after lunchtime, and then move in from the south and be moving north, and could whip their way through the entire state of Oklahoma. And the storm mode is questionable, but we're certainly going to have storms. Here's that weakening low pressure. Check this out. Look at how all this moisture is trying to head north, and it hits this Canadian high, this high pressure up here to the north, and it basically is just bogging down this low pressure. And basically what I'm trying to say is as you can see also, is that all this moisture, as you get into this afternoon to this evening to overnight, it's not able to move north. It gets squashed back south, and as because of this high pressure building into this region already here, and it is actually shunting this energy back to the southeast. So it's pretty wild, but we'll start it back over. Dealing with a lot of storm activity out there. In fact, the HRRR model is initializing horribly. But, it's hit or miss, guys. But we'll certainly watch what happens today. There will be a weak warm front in this area. And check out these storms. I'm sorry, we're in the Sunday. I was wondering what was going on. The HRRR model is not doing terrible, but there's actually ongoing storms right here in Iowa that are not showing up on the HRRR model at all. In fact, look at these storms in Iowa, and then look at the actual run of the HRRR model. It's not doing very well in Iowa at all. But if you see watch how this number right here goes higher. 10, 11, 10, 10, 13. That is symbolizing a weakening low pressure. The higher that millibar number goes, the weaker it is. The lower it goes, the stronger it gets. But bang, this is around 4 p.m. this afternoon, storm development. More so just showers and thunder showers over here in Nebraska and the Dakotas, a little bit of rain. The rest of the areas, Indiana could certainly get some storms. But watch for these storms right into here in Iowa. In fact, we'll get a little bit closer. Here we go. Warm front right in this area. Big storm development is possible. Kind of from a flow from the southeast to the northwest. These storms will try to move north. There is weak flow aloft, so these storms are not going to really know which direction to go out here. But bang, here these storms go. I would watch out initially. These storms are probably going to be a lot more widespread up here to Mason City, to Waterloo, anywhere in northern and northwest Iowa. Then we get into this afternoon, later this evening, 6, 7, 8 p.m. This is when I want to watch these storms, right around when you're starting to lose daylight. I would watch out the Waterloo area down to the Cedar Rapids region, Iowa City. Watch for, I would say, like a semi-discrete storm mode out here. Some of these could produce a tornado. Be aware here in eastern Iowa, just in general today, and then these storms will kind of ooze their way into western and northwest Illinois as we get into the later evening hours. And let's see. This is as far out as the HRRR model wants to go for us, but we'll stop it right here. This is around 10 p.m. You got, some powerful storms that are possible in southern Illinois, really anywhere in southern Illinois. They could pop up anywhere. And then you got this one, I wouldn't say it's a lone storm, but it looks like a dominant storm down here in eastern or southeastern Iowa. I would say it's getting close to the Burlington area, Washington region, starting to move out of the Iowa City area, basically heading towards the Illinois state line, Illinois-Iowa line here. These storms, and we'll go on and switch it to the 06Z so we can keep it going. These storms could create a lot of ruckus, some large hails possible, damaging winds, and a brief tornado into kind of western and northwest Illinois a little bit later tonight. This is around 2 o'clock in the morning, so, Galesburg, just a city I'm throwing out there. Watch out, some storms. Any towns and communities. Peoria, you guys could certainly get some weather. Some big storms kind of in the wee hours of the morning. But these storms could be up here. They could be more so down here. It's hard to figure out exactly where they're going to be. Temperatures a day, it's just a summer type pattern. The only area that it's going to be miserably cold for May 13th standards is North Maine, 40s and some showers. Miserable, and that's because you have troughing moving in, and it's just going to feel like fall up there today for sure. But 80s, widespread 80s in the south, basically find where your state is. That's in general where the temperatures are going to be. And rain, cold air kind of in the Ohio Valley right in here to mid-Atlantic. But the severe weather threat has dropped for tomorrow. It was a slight risk for a Sunday. Now we just have a marginal risk, so that's good news. But if I don't have an evening video tonight, I will certainly drop one in the morning as we always do. But that's all I got, guys. Y'all stay safe out there. Have yourselves a great Saturday. God bless, and I'll talk to you soon.